Blackhawks fans, welcome to the first round of the NHL Draft. I am Ron Lou. Steve will be joining me here in just a few minutes. We are live with you for about the first 5 picks of the draft and anything leading up to that as well. We're going to talk about some of the happenings that have happened around, maybe that could have impacted the Chicago Blackhawks, that maybe couldn't have impacted the Chicago Blackhawks. Steve and I will give our predictions, of course, of who we think the Blackhawks will take overall at number 3. And we're just going to ride the wave with everybody else, at least for these first 5 selections. But don't you worry if you're tuning in with us now and you're wishing that we would stay live for the whole first round. We will be back following the draft. Yes, there will be a live show later this evening, just recapping the first round in totality and just kind of what's to come in day number 2. And then the boys, of course, will be back with you following the totality of the draft probably later on this weekend. So lots of Four Feathers content coming your way over the course of the next few days. Of course, free agency is on the horizon. We're certainly excited about that. Maybe we'll be able to talk a little bit here during our watch along about just kind of what we think really the free agency period is going to be like for the Chicago Blackhawks, players we think they might go ahead and target. I've got a little bit of a spicy take. It's not really that spicy. It's just more of like it would be fun to see type thing. So we'll go ahead and wait and see what's happening there. I hope everybody's excited. If you are watching along with us live, go ahead and drop in the comments here of the show and let us know. Who do you think the Blackhawks are taking at number 3? I'm curious to see just kind of what everybody's opinions are. And give some thoughts. I've heard a lot of polarizing thoughts about some of these players, guys like Anton Frondel, guys like Misa, guys, I've heard different things over the course of here. Good friend of the program, Stuart here. He says he's excited for Misa. I certainly hope Misa is the one. And also a huge shout out to Stuart because Stuart is up in the UK and it is 12:24 in the morning. Where Stuart is. Thankfully, it's now Saturday morning for you, Stuart, but certainly appreciate you hopping in here with us and tuning along. I hope Michael Misa is there at 3. I'm willing to do any ridiculous dance. I'm willing to record any ridiculous content that's required. And I know Tony is going to hear that and he's going to laugh hysterically, knowing what that could potentially mean. But if it means the Hawks get Misa, I'm willing to do it. I think that's where we're at. And I don't think this is a shot at Anton Frondel whatsoever, personally. I think Antoine Frondel is going to be a good player. I thought the Hawks were going to take Frondel pretty close from the start, especially after seeing his game and kind of what kind of player he is. He's a little different than what the Blackhawks have up front. And I think that differentiation of player is part of the reason that he's so appealing. That being said, if you can add a guy that scored 134 points in about 65 games in the OHL, which was the highest mark since 2007 when, who was that guy that scored 145? Oh, yeah, Patrick Kane did it. That's pretty great company to be in. And I think there's reason. There's reason that every Blackhawks fan's standing on their head hoping Misa is going to be there at 3. I know I'm certainly one of them. I know Stuart is. I'm sure a lot of other people tuning in with us here are feeling the same way. I think I'd be really okay, though, with Frondel or Misa. That's kind of where my head's at. I think anything other than that, I'll be admittedly a little disappointed. I know a lot of people like Porter Martone. I know there's some people that are warming up to the idea of Caleb Desnoyers. I don't think Desnoyers would be a terrible pick. I just think, though, if Frondel's on the board for you, you got to go ahead and do it. Especially when you consider the fact that it sounds like the Islanders are going to be able to come back up and get what they're searching for. So I don't know if it's 100% certain. I don't know the validity of the source, but I did see a report. We'll call it report with little quotations here, that the New York Islanders might be trading back up to the number 4 pick using those 2 firsts they just got from Montreal in the Dobson deal to come up to number 4 and take a player. My guess is they're just hoping whoever falls from the top 3, whether it's Frondel, whether it's Desnoyers, whether it's a guy like Porter Martone. Martone strikes me as a player that the Islanders would like, just their kind of brand of hockey, that power forward. I mean, think how many guys they've had there over the years that were kind of that mold, right? You know, you had a little bit of Andrew Ladd there for a while in his later years. Anders Lee has always kind of been a heavy player. Brock Nelson for a long time was that kind of player. It just seems like that's the type of player that the Islanders like, no matter who's in charge. Maybe that's the type of player they want to come up to and get at 4. Again, I don't know if this is 100% certain, so don't shoot the messenger. I'm just sharing what I'm seeing and what could be super interesting here as the draft gets started. I also don't know how much I like ESPN hosting the draft. And I know there's probably a lot of people that share in that sentiment. The coverage is just it's weird. I have it up in front of me right here. It's a little bit off to my left, so you're right if you're watching at home. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. I'm also curious for those that are listening along with us live right now as we talk through this here and we wait for Steve to jump in and join me here. What do we think the Hawks do at 25? Because obviously 25 is a wild card, right? There's so many players that could arguably go at 25 that it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. Stolet wants Higgins at 3. I think that's a name too that I'll be brutally honest with you. I almost totally forgot James Higgins existed. Maybe that's the guy. If the Islanders rumor is true and they're coming back up to number 4, they're going to try and come up and get James Higgins as well. And that'd be a hell of a haul for the Islanders getting the local kid plus Schaefer up at the top. KD will 100% trade up in the first round from 25. I also think that's going to happen, Stuart, especially if there's a player they really, really like. I could see a world where maybe they trade up to somewhere between probably like 17 and 21 is kind of my guess. Maybe the Islanders, now that they have a bunch of picks, or if Utah's got those 2 picks potentially, if there was a deal to happen, that second pick, maybe they'd be willing to move probably for 25. And given the strength of this draft, I wonder if you could get away with not having to move one of those second rounders this year, 34, or I forget what the other number is. I think it's 62. I wonder if you can get away with that if you're Kyle Davidson. Maybe you can give up that third if you're going to move up, still hang on to 34 and 62, and then just play ball. You've also got picks in the future. They have 3 second rounders next year, but next year is also a much deeper draft. So I doubt they would want to touch players, or pardon me, I shouldn't say players, picks that are coming next year. I'm curious. Or maybe you give up that late second to move up and you can still hang on to 34 and get a really good player at the start of the day on Saturday. So really intrigued to see what they do with 25. I know Malcolm Spence is a name that I've seen quite a bit of. I'll be brutally honest with everybody at home. Didn't do a ton of research on the later guys. I'll give some love and some purpose over to our friend, the prospect Don, if you want to learn more about those guys. He even admitted on our crossover episode with him, just the amount of players kind of in that 25 to 40 range, 25 to 45 range that are all kind of the same in the sense of, you know, you're probably going to get a good value. I think that's why keeping that 34th pick is crucial, even if the Blackhawks do move up. You know, if you move on from that second, the late second rounder, I think that's the right move. I'm going to take a quick little sip of some goodies here. Also, shameless plug and a shout out. My older sister made this for me. So I am not a dad, but I am my nephew's godfather. So this was their quote unquote Father's Day gift to me. And it's pretty cool here. If you can see, it's kind of hard with the glare, but it's on tap Sportsnet, kind of laser engraved here into the glass. It's pretty cool. I also got a little on tap Sportsnet. I don't know what you would call those. One of these things, like a Stanley, but it's not exactly a Stanley, but it is black. Looks really cool. So big shout out to her. And maybe in the future, those will be available for people if they want one. I think they're pretty cool. The more, the merrier, right? That we can share the love. Take another sip here. I know our good friend of the program, Mr. Matt Redacted, was asking if Everybody would get to see a wine drunk GM Ron. Wine drunk? I don't know. Wine though, yes, we are enjoying. This is the basic Cooper Hawk Red for those that live in the Chicagoland area and know what Cooper's Hawk is. It's I don't know. I'm a sicko. I like just basic ass red wine. Don't get me wrong. Sweet red is good too. Other stuff is fun too. But that one is it's just a classic. Thank you, Stolid. He says congrats. Thank you. Yeah. He's a cute little guy. He's now little shithead's gonna be 3 later this year. Yeah. He's gonna be 3 in August. So it's crazy how time flies, man. Absolutely crazy how time flies. Just checking some of the reports and rumors that are out and about in the world of hockey Twitter. It's been a fun day, man. It has been a fun day of chaos, confusion, what have you. It's been a lot of fun so far. We got a guy. I think we got a guy, folks. Hey,
What's going on, man?
how are you?
I'm nervous.
You're nervous.
I honestly, yeah, I don't know how I feel about today.
Expand on that thought because I think everybody. I think you're not the only person that feels that way.
Yeah, it's weird because of like this isn't like last year where we kind of knew who was gonna get picked, but like there was two
Mm-hmm.
big players. The year before, Connor Bedard obviously was more exciting, and then this year it's like, well, Michael Misa is going number 2. So it's like a bunch of players that like they could be good. We don't really know. And then now there's talk about we might get Misa, and that's making me super hopeful. And then today there's like all these reports coming out saying like don't expect Misa to fall at 3. So I don't know who to believe. I don't know what's
Mm-hmm.
gonna happen. Is San Jose gonna trade their pick? Is the Blackhawks gonna make a huge trade? Like I don't know. What what are you feeling about this?
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm treating tonight like that new roller coaster ride that you've never ridden before and you don't know how it goes. I'm just
Yeah.
along for the ride. I'm strapped in and I have no choice. That's kind of how I feel. I really do believe it's going to be Frondell or Misa, depending obviously how the second overall pick shakes out. Here's the other thing too that I don't think anybody's talking about. What happens if Schaefer doesn't go 1? Because I don't think there's
See,
any reports out there. Now, granted, hands up in kind of pausing the breaks here because they did just trade Noah Dobson today. So the need for a really good defenseman is there. So logically speaking, it would make sense for them to stick and take Schaefer at 1. That being said, there's also rumblings, Steve. I don't know the credibility of the source, but that the Islanders might potentially take those 2 picks they got in the Dobson deal and move up to number 4 and from Utah. Maybe they can go up and get James Higgins. That to me screams that they're taking Schaefer at 1 if that has any validity at all. So then it
oh, for
really is just
sure.
what do the Sharks do? Because I mean,
Yeah.
a guy that scored 134 points in the OHL would look really good with Macklin Celebrini or Will Smith or any of those young forwards they have, but he'd also look really good in Chicago too with Bedard. So it's we'll see. I don't know. I really don't. I think I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I think I'll be a little more stressed out once the clock starts on the first pick. I think that's when the anxiety will start to build here.
Yeah. I mean, I remember before Bedard was even picked, like I was still a little nervous just because like I started getting intrusive thoughts of like, what if Bedard doesn't get picked and everything is just fake and it's just been a lie? So I don't know. Today is just a whole different level because yeah, if we get Misa, that's gonna be awesome. I hope we get Misa. That solves a lot of problems, especially with how the Blackhawks kind of need somebody on that top wing spot with Bedard. I think Misa, he could jump straight to the NHL. I think there's rumors that he might look into going into college, so that obviously will factor into things. But um, yeah, I hope we get Misa.
I will say this, hypothetically speaking. Oh, and as our friend Vince says here, the Islanders are on the clock. I think, on a little bit of a delay because I am streaming it. So
Yeah, me too.
we're a little behind. But um ooh, train of thought quickly lost. Misa. I think if the Hawks did get Misa, hypothetically speaking, and he does go to college, the really fun part about that is he'd be playing with Sasha Boisvert because Boisvert transferred to BC, and that's where Misa is expected to go if he goes to college.
That's right.
So if that's the case, at least then, if you're a Blackhawks fan, you can justify that saying, well, yeah, we don't get to see him at the NHL level this year, but like watching Boston College games is going to be awesome. And he's probably a one and done in college and then going to jump to the team as soon as BC season's done. Now, granted, BC could go on and win the whole thing, and you only see him for the last 3 games of the year, and it just kind of is what it is. So just intrigued to see what happens here. Lots and lots of anticipation, excitement. I feel a little nauseous and nervous. We'll see, man. We'll see.
I definitely feel the nerves. I saw Sam Bennett. He signed a 8-year by eight
Yes,
million deal today, so it's kind of big. There's been a lot of uh big. Did they pick him already? I can't.
I don't know. Are we
Did
that far behind?
Matthew Schaefer? Yeah, I can't tell. I just saw Schaefer in a Islanders jersey. It looked like.
I think that's just a kid
What's
with a
going on?
Schaefer Islanders jersey. I just saw that too.
Oh, my
It's out here
stomach
messing
sank.
with us already. I know it's out here messing with us already.
Going with oh man, damn
They're
it.
just they're just
Um,
playing with your emotions, Steve. They're just playing with your
yeah.
emotions. No, I
Lost my
I
train of thought.
you were talking about extensions. There have been a lot of big extensions that have occurred already. Jack Quinn re-signed for 2 years, I
Yep.
believe, with the Buffalo Sabres. Obviously, the Dobson deal was a
Bears.
part of the trade, 9.5 over 8.
Yep.
Bennett getting 8x8 for Florida. I mean, there's been a lot. Vince is here. Hear me out. No Misa. I like Hagens. I don't think you're alone. I think Stolet, our good friend Stolet Breezing, is in the same camp. Blue says, "What's up, guys? What's up, Blue? How you doing? Thanks for joining us." Stewart says he feels sick. Um, I feel that, and good friend of the program, Freak Ball Coach, out here reposting the stream. We appreciate the love and support. I got the tracker up, so we will also get some live some full tracker updates as this thing goes here. Steve, I got to ask you. Obviously, there's been a lot of hypotheticals. The 4th pick could be traded, the 7th pick could be traded. I'll say over under 3.5 trades. How many trades do you think we see tonight? Do you think we see 4 or more, or you think it's going to be 3 or less?
I think with the way they're hyping it up, they're trying to make it look like at least I want to say at least 2 big trades are going to happen.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I think we'll see 2 big trades. I think that I don't know if it'll happen with San Jose. I think they're gonna stick with 2. I don't think it's gonna be with the Blackhawks either. I think Utah is gonna make a trade. They're gonna move their 4th overall number 4th pick for somebody, and
hmm
then I think maybe the Islanders do something else. Or the Penguins too. I think those are the teams that are going to be in play for like a big trade.
Definitely. I think Pittsburgh is absolutely in play, especially having 2 top 12 picks, having 11 and 12 back to back this year. I think especially when it's not the strongest draft. So I was talking to one of my good friends earlier who's a huge Pittsburgh Penguins fan. maybe more of a huge Sidney Crosby fan because he's admitted that like once Crosby retires, it's not going to feel the same. But he's been a Pens fan since like the dark days. I mean, he's been watching them for a long time. And I was asking him, and we were talking back and forth, and he said the same thing. He said, I think Dubas is going to make a move because when you have 2 picks in the top 12 and it's not a super strong draft, why not try to couple the 2 of those together and maybe a player because they have a lot of contracts that they're willing to move off of and try and move up. Maybe that's to 4. Maybe that's to 3 even. He asked me, he said, what do you think the likelihood is that the Hawks would potentially trade 3? Said it's not impossible. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's not impossible, right? There's a lot that can change between now, which I love how they tell us it's a 6 o'clock draft. It's never a 6 o'clock draft. It's always later. But genuinely intrigued to see what happens. It's funny. I don't know if you're seeing this right now too. A lot of Islanders fans walking up to Schaefer to get autographs. So
Yeah, I saw that.
I think they clearly feel that he's an Islander. I think if the Dobson trade hadn't happened today, I would be a little more like, what are they going to do? I really do believe. Oh, there's Gary. Is he getting booed? Can he get booed? Yeah, it's decentralized, but they're still fans, right? Like, it's not totally.
No, he's been getting less boos over the years.
Yeah, well, because the NHL is finally starting to do some good shit. For a long time, it was like, what are we doing here? And now it's like, things are getting better. A couple of comments here quickly from Fake Ball Coach. He says, Misa, book it. He says, if they can't get Misa, he believes they trade out and maybe take Desnoyers later if they're able to stay high enough. Desnoyers is such an interesting player because I really do believe he has a really good shot of going in the top 5. But then again, I think because of the nature of this draft, he could also fall to like 10, right? So who knows?
I think Desnoyers, he's grown on me. I wasn't too big on him originally. I think I actually like Hagen's more, but just kind of like everybody else, Hagen's has kind of been slipping in my personal draft rankings. But we'll see if Hagen's ends up getting picked higher than what he's projected, or if he drops significantly, I guess.
My gut tells me Hagen still goes probably somewhere before 6. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think if that reported Islanders trade of them coming up to 4 happens, Hagen's the 4th pick. Like my gut tells me that's exactly what it would be. If that's the case, right? Like obviously there's a lot of what ifs. But I could really see that happening. I think there's also a lot of potential, speaking of players, if the Hawks were to move back, hypothetically, say they trade out of the pick and they take like both of those Pittsburgh picks, I think a guy like Victor Eklund is somebody they could target too, who was really, really good. You know, our guy, the prospect Don said at times Eklund was kind of carrying that line with Frondell in Sweden.
Yeah.
He's small.
Yeah,
I know that everybody freaks out because of size, but he would be an interesting player too. That's what makes it so fun. There's so many what ifs.
Oh, for sure. And what I like about the league that Eklund and Frondell play in is it's a men's league. Like they're playing against grown men. I think that average age is like 26 years old. So what those 2 players are doing, it's impressive.
Yeah, the top Swedish league is a very well respected league. Like if you're producing in that league, you're doing something right because it is a bunch of grown men. It's not the AHL where you got a couple of the vets that just stick around and it's a bunch of young guys trying to find their footing. You know, it's not the, the Finnish elite league maybe isn't the same level as Sweden. If we're talking outside of the United States, outside of probably the KHL, the Swedish elite league is probably the best league anywhere else in the world.
Right, I agree with that.
So, well, outside North America, of course,
obviously. We got Tony in the chat.
Yes, hello, happy draft day, Tony. And happy Friday, hello everyone from our friend Daniel Berry Sports Highlights as well. I'm ready. I don't like this.
Neither do I. I keep forgetting that it's decentralized and it's throwing me off, and it's just
I
adding to
hate
my
it.
nerves. Like
I know.
I don't need this.
I hate it. Are you guys
It's
making the
weird.
pick or are you guys just bullshitting? I don't have my volume on.
Neither do I. Oh, my stream just died too. Sick. I'm using ESPN Plus.
Oh. Oh, see, I hate that. They're just asking the Islanders if they're feeling good. God, get out of here. I don't like this. Go back to the old format. This shit sucks. Fake ball coach.
There
I
we go.
agree.
I'm
It's
back up.
very bad. It's very bad. It just doesn't feel the same. You know what I mean? Like, because I think
Yeah.
it's cool when you see the whole front office get to go up to the stage and they get to actually welcome the kid and like there's something to be
Yep.
said about that versus just like this poor kid's gonna go up on this. And I get like the NFL draft is decentralized, but like I don't know. I don't know. Do you
Yeah.
like it or are you in the same camp that I am right now about this?
No, I feel the same way. It's something I think the NHL did good at when they had the draft in person. I think it makes it more special, more intimate. It set itself apart from the other major sports leagues. Uh, and like you said, I get it because it gives the front offices a better opportunity to um, kind of like have their own little headquarters, and then they get to stay put for free agency, which is like in a couple days. So it does
True.
make sense from that aspect, but there's heart with the other way. I think they're gonna bring it back too.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to bring it back. I will say that that is a good point though. Is like for these teams to be able to stay put and then just kind of go right into free agency or get ready for free agency. I think there is something to be said about that. Not that, of course, guys don't fly out on that Saturday night or even that Sunday morning and are back in time for July 1st, but it makes you wonder, and especially this year. I mean, with it being in Los Angeles, that would be such a difficult trip for a lot of these teams. I mean, look how much of the league is effectively east of the Mississippi River. What is it? Probably 70% of the league is east of the Mississippi, maybe even more than that if we run the numbers. So maybe
Making their
that's
selection.
the pick is in. This is where we puke. Also, AJ saying we love draft day. Yes, we do. We love draft day. Here we go.
Here we go. Matthew Schaefer.
Bang.
Are we are we synced up or am I a little ahead of you?
You're a
I
little
don't wanna
ahead of me, but
spoil
that's
your
okay.
week.
No, you can
Okay.
spoil it for me. It's fine.
You'll
Actually,
be
if
able to
you
tell if
if
my
you
my
if
reaction.
if you spoil it for me, that's almost better because then I don't have to put the volume on. So I'm an old man. If I can't hear it, I'm like confused as to what's happening. I don't read lips well.
No, I'm the same way. That's why I thought earlier when I saw the kid in the Schaefer jersey, I was like, "Oh shit, did they already make the selection?"
Did
Um,
it already
and
happen?
it's weird with this decentralized draft because it's just Bettman going up there, so I'm not really cued in on when they're actually about to announce it. It's just he's got
Yeah.
the card, so it's weird. I don't like it.
I will say, speaking of Schaefer, I didn't realize how big he is.
He's
Six
a
two,
big
a
dude.
buck 90 is a 17-year-old. My question though becomes does he play up right away or does New York get patient and let him go back to Erie or go to the NCAA if he wants to and do something like that?
That is a great question. Um, Man, I don't know what I'd do to be honest because defensemen tend to take longer to develop, but Schaefer is obviously in a totally different class. Uh, if I were the Blackhawks, I know Kyle Davidson would probably prefer the more patient route, but I would be okay with him jumping right into the NHL.
I think if nothing else, because of the nature of contract sliding and how that works, I think you got to at least give him the 9-game trial, right? Like you at least got to give him those first 9 and just see how he plays and then make a decision after those 9 games. And if he's not ready, you say, okay, hey, we're sending you back to Erie. Your contract's going to slide a year, but we'll see you next year because we think you're close or whatever. Or if he balls out in the first 9, maybe they just say, you know what, screw it. We'll keep him up, and they have enough other pieces on that blue line where like he doesn't need to be the dude right away. Right? You've got Pollock, you've got a couple other really good names. Obviously, losing Dobson is tough, but you can shelter him, I think, in a way. I mean, if Kevin Korchinski can play in the league as a 19-year-old, I think Schaefer, who's bigger, arguably. See, this is the shit I don't like. Schaefer having to talk to his new front office like on a screen.
It's like the Wizard of Oz.
And like this poor kid's got to like now, and this is also the part. This feels more theatric because it's like everybody can hear what you're saying to the front office. That's normally the shit that would just be said on stage. You know what I mean? Or like to the green room. And like maybe that's part of the reason the NHL wanted it, was to give an excuse of like, we can show what these conversations sound like.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. What are you feeling right emotional now? I will say I learned a lot about Matthew Schaefer. I listened to the 32 Thoughts podcast, and I only got the beginning of his discussion with Kyle and Elliot on the show, but he was talking about how he lost his mom at a really young age, and he's had a lot of adversity as a young kid. Yeah, he lost his mom to cancer, I think at like 9 years old or something like that, like really young. And this is uncomfortable to watch. I agree. I don't like this whole like, I don't like hearing the conversation. Is that weird? I don't want to hear the conversation. You know what I mean? Like between the front office and the player. I'm cool hearing the players speak. Like I think that's normal. But I don't like the conversation between the two parties being like broadcasted. I think that takes away some of the intimacy, like you said, a little bit from it. But yeah, Schaefer, like he's really mature beyond his years, and there's been some like facilities, like there was a grief facility, I believe, that opened in Los Angeles because they were out there for the draft, for people that are, grieving and going through hard times. And like he spoke to them and was like, I lost my mom and this is how I've dealt with it. So like you can tell he's mature beyond his years for reasons that he probably wished weren't the case. But he seems like just a good kid and like well put together, and you can tell he cares really, like he's kind of a sicko about hockey, which you got to be, right? If you're going to be really good at the sport, you got to be a sicko about it. I think he's a guy that'll be really good, though. I really do. And he's already huge. 6'2", 186 at 17 years old.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big dude.
The Islanders got somebody special in Schaefer. And I'm so glad you brought up the Dobson trade from earlier, because I was getting the updates throughout work, so I didn't really have time to process everything. And when you said it, it clicked where it's like, well, they're going to pick Schaefer now because they traded Dobson. So it all makes sense. And the Islanders, man, they've really hit the lottery with this one. I kind of envy them, even though we already got the dart. And now I'm getting super nervous because the Sharks are on the clock. This is I don't like this.
This is the part now where like my stomach is now starting to turn. I know some of that is hunger because I'm getting hungry and it's 6:20 at night here in Chicago. Yeah, now the clock is ticking on the pick. Oh, yeah, now I'm feeling the butterflies of just what happens here. Do they surprise the world and take Frondell? If they take Frondell, something's getting knocked over on my desk. I hope you understand that. I hope everybody understands that. If they take Frondell, something's getting broken. And I'm starting to like frantically panic and making sure there's nothing super breakable. I do have glass here, though. I got to be careful. And if it is Misa, I think this pen is getting chucked at the whiteboard that's directly in front of me, probably to where people can hear it. Actually, let's test that theory really quick. Here we go. Can you hear this?
No. That was
No?
quiet.
Wow. I thought that was
Yeah, that
loud as
was
shit.
quiet.
I just
No.
launched the pen like halfway across the room. Anyway, something's getting chucked.
I'm
Something's getting
just
chucked
waiting
either
for
in
like
celebration or upset. Being upset.
I'm waiting for like a graphic to flash for like trade or something. And
I
I think
know.
they got a
Oh,
minute and 30 seconds left.
that would be crazy because I feel like if a team's gonna trade for this pick according to what the Sharks want, that's kind of a blockbuster trade if it happens because somebody super valuable is being moved as a result of that. And I just don't think a lot of teams have those guys to just give up. You know what I mean? I think they
Yeah.
put that out there of like, hey, look, we've been getting a lot of calls on this pick. If you really want this pick, this is what we want. And if you're not going to conform to that standard, we're staying pat and we're picking who we want.
Yeah. Oh, their pick is in.
Oh.
Oh,
Uh, I'm just going to say this out loud because I need to say it to get it through my brain. It's probably Michael Misa.
oh yeah.
And
It's
I'm
for
just trying
sure.
to like,
So
I'm just trying to come to terms with the fact that it's Misa. It's
I
Michael Misa.
came to terms to it until everybody started talking about how they liked Frondell, and then I don't know.
As soon as
Now I
that
just
report
feel
came out,
like yeah. I feel like I've been toyed with. It's not fair.
not fair at all. Not fair at all.
Oh. I
Is
can't
that
remember
just
the last time I was this nervous for a draft.
oh yeah, let's throw the thing on. I think the last time was what was that, 2019 when the Hawks got the third pick in the
Yeah.
lottery? That was probably the last time. And not necessarily nerves, just more anticipation.
Yeah.
No, I'll take that back.
I agree with that.
The 2018 draft, I think, is the one for me when Boakfist.
Really.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
I wanted either Dobson or Bouchard at that pick if they were going to go D man. I was pissed because Quinn
I
Hughes went the
wasn't
pick before.
yeah. I wasn't too nervous for that one. I was just kind of
Pissed.
like gonna be rolling with the punches and then disappointed afterwards.
Yeah, definitely disappointed in that one. The pick is in. Get your ass on stage, Gary. Is he on stage on yours?
No, it's Emily Kaplan talking.
Okay. They keep showing all these Shark fans too. The anticipation. Is that Emily Kaplan? I guess that is Emily Kaplan. Now there he
There's
is. What's up,
there's
Matt?
Matt.
How you doing, buddy? Hey, I'm drinking wine, Matt. You missed it. I'm drinking wine. You didn't get to see this. My sister made this for me.
Oh, that
Well,
is nice.
on tap Sportsnet.
I am underwater. And
You are underwater. I was gonna ask you, I was like, is that a fish behind you?
well, the generic backgrounds I didn't like, so I just found a water one, and I didn't want to copy Tony's space background. Have to be unique,
Yeah,
extremely bougie. Yeah.
Tony's you're extremely bougie, borderline royalty. Yeah, I'm the goofball that just I roll with my blank wall behind me. Eventually there's gonna be stuff on it that'll at least make it look cool, but for now it's just a
Yeah.
plain boring ass wall. What are you gonna
Oh
do?
man, they're really drawing this out.
I know I hate it.
Oh,
Just tell us who they picked, please. Oh, here it
gotta
goes.
read the subtitles.
Here it comes. Spoil it for me, Steve. Who is it?
Come on, hurry up. Oh, they're getting a celebrity to make. I hate this shit.
No,
It's
they're
not fun.
they're dragging it out even more.
This is horrible.
Oh, this is so ESPN. I can't take it.
Oh man.
This is so Disney. Everything in Disney needs to be such a performance. She's a WWE wrestler?
I guess so.
Oh shit.
I hope she doesn't say the wrong name or butcher
Oh,
it.
could you imagine?
I-
I think the people they have doing this stuff are pretty dialed in with the NHL though. Like it's not just
Yeah.
some person that's like, "Oh, there's a hockey team in the city I'm from. Sure, I'll announce their pick." Like I think they're dialed in.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Well,
that's
let's keep on keeping on. Yeah, I can read her lips. Michael Misa. That's how I feel. Yeah. This is the fun now of the of the comment section. Fact, I hate her. I don't know her, but I hate her. All right. Well, now
I
the
wouldn't
draft
have felt
starts,
this
right?
way. Yeah. This is I guess like I'm not nervous anymore because
But
I really wanted Misa. And now
yeah,
I'll be fine if it's either Frondel or Desnoyers, even Mortone. At this point, I think if I see any oddballs, then I'm going to be a little upset. But
yeah.
I don't know.
I think as I mean, I think at this pace, I want Frondel. I think if it's
Yeah,
not
I agree.
Frondel, I'm a little disappointed. So he's going back to
Yeah,
Sweden, though, huh? I
yeah.
hate that.
He'll be in Sweden. I don't like that either because I mean, like we were just saying how it is like a good league, but if he's in our system and we could get him playing against better competition, I would hope that he doesn't go back to Sweden.
I would love to see him sign and just go to Rockford because he can. He doesn't have
Yeah,
any
yeah,
CHL, affiliations or anything. He could play in Rockford this year as an 18-year-old.
yep.
And I think that would be a great place for him. And if he balls out in the AHL, then give him a shot in the NHL. Like I think if you can convince him of that, that would be pretty cool. And certainly we'll learn a lot more of that as the draft comes. And again, that's assuming the Hawks even take him, but we'll see. Matt. No, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen. Big Ball Coach said Misa not happy. The Hawks are trading. We'll see, man. I think it's a real possibility. I think if somebody really wanted Frondel and said we'll give you X, Y, and Z to move up to 3, I think the Hawks are at least going to consider that. And AJ is also sad, like me. Yeah, I'm sad too. Michael Misa would have looked really good in Blackhawks colors. So
So
do
now
you think Misa goes to college now though?
that's
Or
a
do you
great
think he
question.
plays right away?
I think he's going to go to college. He could play right away if he wanted to, and if he did, he's got some really good players to play with. Celebrini, Smith, those are like that'd be a fun team to watch next year if you're a Sharks fan. But I think he's going to go to college, and I think going to college is going to be good for him too. That is a great hockey program. It's already exceeding the CHL, and
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't hurt him if he went over there. But man, do I wish I saw Fremdell up there right now. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of sucks.
You know how bad it's going to feel when we have to watch Michael Misa play next to Sasha Boisvert and wonder what if.
Yeah, but
It's going to suck.
with Fren- with Frendell and Desnoyers, I guess the likely picks for the Blackhawks, both of those players are projected to be centers. So I wonder what the Blackhawks are going to plan to do because they've made it clear recently that Frank Nazar and Bedard are their top two centers. Um, which leads me like I would think a trade is likely, but I don't know. I guess we'll
Yeah.
see. The Blackhawks are on the clock.
I think with Frondell at least though, and you have mentioned this when we were discussing things earlier today. He's played wing in Sweden, so I don't think it would be a surprise if he came over and became a winger. I think he could use his kind of physicality a little bit better at the wing position. As weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
But like Matt says here, though, I wouldn't hate this. I know we like Nazar at center. Here's my thing. Maybe this is controversial. I think Nazar, his game looked better when he would play wing. Even he looked good at center, but he also looked good at wing. I think Bedard disappears at wing. To me, Bedard has to be a center because he needs to be the primary
I agree.
guy. Whereas like Nazar's game, I think translates to either position. So if you were to go that route and say, okay, whoever's coming in is absolutely going to be a center, I think Nazar's to me is the guy that can go to wing because he can use his speed most effectively at wing.
I 100% agree. Especially your comment about Bedard because especially at the end of last season, a lot of people were saying how they see Bedard more as a wing than a center, which I can see where that argument comes from. But Bedard, he says he thinks he's a really good playmaker. I agree. I think he's a brilliant playmaker, even though his number one weapon is his shot. So I think he needs to focus on being a goal scorer. But I think people confuse the fact that he's not the best defensively, and they automatically assume that he has to be a winger because of that. If Bedard turns into to what we think he is, we're set.
Yeah. I think what I noticed, so there was I can't recall the exact game last year, but I went to one of the games that Bedard played wing. Like on the lineup card, Bedard was listed as the winger. That game he vanished like from relevance in the game. Just completely like I didn't notice him. He vanished. Completely vanished. I know a lot of people are saying, well, Bedard's maybe defensive game isn't the best. He improved on faceoffs as the season went on. And if he's a 50-50 guy with how he plays, I can tolerate that. I agree with you. I think he just needs to worry about shooting the puck a little bit more. And especially as he gets better playmakers up on that line with him, I think he'll be able to utilize that ability. He's still going to rack up assists, though, because teams are going to gravitate to Bedard. And he shows he's a good passer. I mean, he's a great passer. I think that's the real key, though, right? Is just, to me, he disappears playing the wing. Where Nazar, on the other hand, I think he shines no matter where he's playing. And that's just, to me, shows how well of a well-rounded player he is. Matt says here, he says, Nazar is one of the very few people who can complete the plays that Bedard sees and tries to make. I agree with that. Here comes the Blackhawks selection, by the way. So we're gonna breathe for a second.
Do they have a guest announcing it?
Yep.
Oh, Roenick. Hell yeah.
All right, for this one, Steve, I'm going to ask you not to spoil it.
Okay.
You can go ahead and react, but I want to soak it in. That's a good pick. Is JR sober enough to read? I think he's okay. This one's fun though because he played for the Kings too.
He did, yeah.
So there's that connection to, Roenick playing for both cities. Played for the Sharks too.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they had him announce both picks?
That'd be kind of brilliant.
Be hilarious.
There you go, JR.
JR, I love you, buddy, but I don't want to hear your spiel.
All right. All
Here
right.
it is.
As expected.
Yep. Beautiful. Love that. Honestly, good with it. Absolutely good with it.
I'm I'm totally fine with it.
All right, let's talk about it,
He's-
Steve. You did a lot of research on him. You put together the player profile. I'm gonna give you the floor here, man. Tell me and everybody listening what the Blackhawks are getting in Anton Frondell.
Yeah, so from what I've seen with Frondell, and I'm not as like locked in as like the prospect Don. Um, from basically when I started looking at all these prospects, initially I had Porter Martone as my number 3 that the Blackhawks should pick. Um, number 3 overall in the draft, I should say. So number 1 for the Blackhawks. But Frondell, he overtook Martone just because of one. The dude is huge. We just saw he's 6'1", I think 204 pounds, but he's over 200 pounds. So the kid is massive, and he doesn't deserve to be called a kid anymore because of how big he is. But he's a center that plays a great two-way game. So he's got a lot of the defensive responsibility and knowledge that I think a lot of fans kind of want to see more out of Bedard, even though I don't think that should be something we should worry from Bedard. Um, and he's got a high ceiling where if the Blackhawks didn't have a number 1 center, he could potentially be the number 1 center down the line. So you have to like the center that he had or the ceiling he has. But he also has a lower ceiling too. So if he doesn't hit, he could end up just being worst case scenario, somebody maybe on your third line. So there is a little risk. The other pick, Denoya, he was the much more safer pick, where the kid is for sure projected to be an NHL center, just not a high enough ceiling where Frondell's got a higher ceiling. So if this kid hits, and like, there's a reason why people were getting excited in San Jose a little bit. Even even though it could have been mostly smoke, but regardless, like a lot of people not connected with San Jose had Frondell rising on their draft board. So we're getting a good center who could shift to wing. Like you were saying, he's been playing wing in Sweden, so he already knows how to do that. It's always easier for a center to transition to the wing in the NHL. So I think that's a better pick than Martone, because Martone is looking like he'll just be a winger. And Martone, his biggest thing was he wasn't a good skater. Frondell is fast and he's a really good skater. So that's something that Kyle Davidson uh, prioritizes for a lot of his players. So we're getting this big kid who's fast. He can move. He could be a great winger. He could be a great center if we end up moving Nazar Bedard around. So I'm really happy with Frondell. He's not Misa, but I mean, who knows? Maybe a few years down the road, we're looking at this and we're happy that we got Frondell instead of Misa. It's probably just me telling it to myself so I don't get depressed. But yeah, I'm happy.
I mean, I think there's a world where, to your point, I think there's a world where both the Sharks and the Blackhawks can be happy with their picks, right? Like it's not completely just, oh, it was either Misa or bust. I will say this, Frondell, and I'm glad there was other people that said this too, because I didn't feel like a total doofus for feeling this way. But there was a lot of people, myself included, like it was the player that I compared Frondell to in my head is Alexander Barkov. Like he plays a very similar game. And he also had that rise, right? We talked about it on our last show earlier this week, a little bit about kind of that 2013 draft and Barkov rising and the poeticness of how that draft went to just for fun. You know, I think there's a world here where everybody can still be happy with this pick when it's all said and done. Matt says here quickly, gold borders on the numbers. Yeah, that looks nice. You didn't really get to see that with the release of the 100-year jersey. I love it, by the way. I know a lot of people are very whelmed by it, but I think classic is key. I like the gold around the Indian head because that's obviously kind of a nod to what the jersey used to look like. But the gold on the numbers is kind of sharp too. I really like that as well. And then I like the ties. Ties on a jersey are just
like
clean. So
Yeah.
big fan of how it looks. Plus the 100-year patch on the one shoulder. And they also, this was a good note pointed out by, I believe it was Tab Bamford or Mario Cheribasi, one of the two, that the tomahawk on the shoulder instead of the yellow C, it's a gold C as a part of it as
Yep.
well. So it's a good looking jersey, man. I'm not mad about it. Sometimes simple is good. And I did see some people asking and wondering if the black jerseys were still going to happen. I think they are. Like I don't think that's not going to
Yep.
happen. I just don't know when.
Especially from a business standpoint, like they're going to make a lot of money selling this one, and then they're
Oh
going to
yeah,
make a shit ton of money with the black jersey. So they're going to release one, and I think
yeah,
it's been hinted at before from the Blackhawks organization.
yes.
But
They
I
hinted it years ago though.
I already caved, and as soon as I saw the pre-order, I went ahead and got my order in. So last year
Attaboy.
I sat too long for
The
the
Winter
Winter
Classic
Classic.
jerseys. I did too.
And then I was told I was getting it, and then the week it was supposed to come to my house, they sent me an email saying that they ran out of jerseys. So yeah, I was not happy.
Big, big, big sad. No, I think when it's all said and done, I think the pick was the right pick. I agree with you though. I'm gonna have to get on these jerseys early too because I did not get a Winter Classic jersey, and I'm a little disappointed. It's not the end of the world, but I'm a little disappointed. Now this is interesting. Utah's pick is in, so clearly nobody was giving them enough. Steve, as we stay live through just the first 5 picks. Once Nashville goes off the clock, everybody, this live stream will end, but there will be a live stream later from the Four Feathers podcast regarding just kind of recapping really what the first round was. A couple of quick questions or comments here. The old black alts are the best best alts in the NHL for the Hawks. I completely agree. He thinks the retro Winter Classics and the retro gloves are also insanely cool and should stick around. That would be cool if they stuck around. I don't know if they're going to, but would certainly like to see that. Tony Finau. He's a Tony Finau. Was he the owner? No, that's Steve. Oh, he's a golfer. Tony
I
Finau.
think he's a
Okay.
golfer.
Yeah, he's a golfer. I was like Tony Finau. I know that name.
I I love their logo, but I'm not a fan of their uniforms. I think if I wrote the article that Pat wrote ranking all the NHL jerseys, I think they would be my last.
I will say this. You know, the number one reason I don't like Utah's color scheme and jerseys is because they look way too close to the Winnipeg Jets.
Yes. Yeah. It's
Way too
not
close.
new.
No. I like the logo. I think the logo is fantastic. I
I
think
love it.
how they did it is spectacular, but the colors could be better. What the fuck was that? I don't know. That's why I don't like these. I don't like these whole like celebrity cameo bullshits. I'm not here for it. Okay,
Yeah.
Caleb Desnoyers goes number 4. Yeah, big.
I thought for sure that pick was going to get traded.
I did too. I'm actually a little surprised that they stuck and picked. Absolutely
Now
wild.
I'm still thinking about all the smoke and how Misa was dropping a three. I can't get it out of my head. I knew this was going to happen. I had made peace at the start of the week, and now I'm not at peace, even
And then
though I like the
they
pick a lot.
dragged you back in. Yeah, I feel that, man. I really do. It's rough. But at the end of the day, though, Ron Luce is 2 for 2 now on getting the pick correct from very early in the offseason of who the Blackhawks were going to take when they had the third overall selection. This year it was Frondell. I said Frondell was going to be the pick early. And years ago, I said Kirby Doc was going to be the pick. And it was.
Oh wow.
So we're cooking with gas when it comes to predicting third overall picks for the Chicago Blackhawks. Matt says that he believes that Hockey Talk created the rumor. Maybe, man. Maybe. If they did though, they created a lot of steam because like there was reputable sources hinting out there that there was thought that Frondell was well liked by San Jose. So I don't know if that was completely just like Hawks people. And I don't know if there's Hawks people that truly believe it or not, but um, yeah, man, it's a bummer. It really is because, like you said, yeah. See, they're just such boring uniforms.
Yeah,
The
I,
logo's great though.
great logo. But
Spectacular logo.
gotta acknowledge Matt real quick. I need to tell him hello because I got called out on the last show. He hopped in at the end and he said he saw me smiling. I didn't say anything, so I see you now, Matt. I'm making sure I'm saying hello to you.
It's funny. I am in a group chat with a number of other hockey fans from all over the place. Calgary, Montreal, you name it. And we just got a big love for the Four Feathers crew was right about Frondell probably going 3. Um,
Oh yeah.
my response was bang, we don't miss.
Hell yeah.
Matt says Steve just smiling, staring blankly at the camera while Ron signs off.
That would mean
Yeah,
ahead.
it's fun though. It's part of the fun, right? All the nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the worst part of
Um,
this. These poor kids having to fucking talk to these people on a for the
like
world to
I wouldn't
see.
know what to do. Like I feel bad. Like you stand there with your hands. Like you feel like fuck. What's that movie? Like you don't know what to do with your hands. Talladega
I
Nights.
don't, yeah, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Like you can't shake
Seriously.
their hands or anything. It's not very personable.
Yeah, it feels very just like I thought we were getting away from the whole Zoom call thing. It feels like it made its
Yeah.
comeback. It feel like it honestly, this feels as close as it possibly can to what the 2020 NHL draft was. See,
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing. They're saying his comp is Nico Hischier. I'd be pumped to get a player like Nico Hischier.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nico Hischier's a damn good hockey player. Yeah, he took a few years to get there, but like he's a damn good hockey player. Fun fact was the first ever draft pick that I witnessed in person because the 2017 draft was held in Chicago, and myself and a
Oh,
good friend of
nice.
mine went to both days. Yeah, it was pretty cool. So, yeah, that draft is fun to look back on now. That first round because there was some real bangers in that first round. I'm actually going to pull it up real quick, but I know at the top, obviously the first one was Nico Hischier. Nolan Patrick becoming a bust is really tragic because I know he dealt with a lot of kind of off the field
Yeah.
injuries and stuff that really or off the ice injuries, I should say, that kind of like hampered his career. But Heiskanen went third in that draft. Cale Makar went fourth in that draft. I mean, it was looking back on it, that was a hell of a draft. Elias Pettersson went 5. And then you want to talk about a run of, I'm not going to use the term busts, but varying values of players. Cody Glass went 6.
Oof.
Elias Anderson went 7. Casey Middlestat went 8. Casey Middlestat's a nice player. Michael Rasmussen went 9. Owen Tippett went 10. Velarde went 11. Obviously, much better player for the Jets than he was for the Kings, but neither here nor there. Martin Nakash went 12. Kind of crazy to
Oh.
think about in hindsight. Nick Suzuki was the 13th pick in that draft. Then you got another, as Matt says here, a run of Andrew Vaughn's for anybody that understands White Sox references. Callan Foote, Eric Brandstrom, Juuso Valimaki, Timothy Liljegren, Urho Vakanen, Josh Norris. So a lot of guys that really haven't panned out. But the 20th pick in that first round, Robert Thomas, real good player for the St. Louis Blues. Cheadle is an okay player. Yamamoto is an okay player. Pierre Oliver Joseph is an okay player. Christian Vesalainen, I don't even know where he's at. Ryan Poehling actually might be one of the best picks of that draft
Oh
at
wow, yeah.
25. Jake Ottinger went 26, though. And the worst part about that is that was the pick the Blackhawks owned. And they traded out of it with the Stars, and the
That's
Stars came up and
right.
got Ottinger. Yeah. That one was rough. Morgan Frost went 27. Shane Bowers went 28. That was the year, of course, that the Blackhawks took Henry Jokiharju. Eli Tolvanen went 30, and then Klim Kostin, who was one of those restricted free agents not getting a qualifying offer, along with Kurashev and another one, Cody Glass, was the final pick of that first round. And that pick was actually acquired in a trade because Ryan Reeves got traded as a part of that deal for that last pick. So that was kind of the fun nuance. But we got a Nashville pick. This is it, Steve. Good hour plus run here. Who are the Predators going to take?
Yeah,
Who's
how about
announcing the
this
Predators pick?
Oh, Shea Weber.
Oh, that's right. Weber is
Uh,
announcing it. You mean
Chicago
Chicago Blackhawks defenseman Shea Weber, damn it?
Blackhawks. He lives.
He lives 49th overall pick by the Predators. Wow. Can't believe that dude was a 49th overall pick. That's bonkers.
That's wild.
Absolute bonkers. Weber, Hawks legend. Yes, Weber is a Hawks legend. You could buy a Shea Weber jersey. It makes sense. Brady Martin. Yeah. His stock was rising in this draft. A lot of people thought he had a shot to go 4.
Wow.
His player comp, I don't know if they're going to say it, but I've seen a lot of people compare Brady Martin to Sam Bennett.
Wow.
As that kind of player. Is he not at the draft? I don't think he's at the draft. Apparently he's playing with puppies.
So.
And good. They can't do their bullshit. They have one guy that's not at the draft. Thank God.
Probably don't want to show up to this shit.
I don't fucking blame him. I don't blame him. Well, that's good. We got somebody to break up the madness. Good on Brady Martin. He's back home on his farm, just hanging out, having a good time, watching it. Steve,
Yeah.
any final thoughts on Frondell, and what are you looking forward to about the rest of the first round?
I'm happy with Frondell, and so far this is pretty much what I expected. So unless like a big trade happens, this is looking to be on the more boring side of things. But hopefully some chaos happens. What I don't want to have happen, because I got a long drive ahead of me, is I don't want to find out that there's some dumb trade that involves Frank Nazar, because he's the jersey I bought. So I'll get a refund. But yeah, I'm hoping for a big trade.
Yeah, I'm hoping for. I'm with you there. I think some level of chaos is what I'm looking for in this draft, and I don't know what that is necessarily just yet, but we just need some chaos in our lives, man. It's going to be for the best. Well, we certainly appreciate the absolute hell out of everybody that joined us here for these first 5 picks. Steve, appreciate you jumping on as well and joining me here to talk about these first 5. Of course, the Blackhawks picked the most important of those 5. We'll be back. We'll be back later this evening. At least I'll be back. That's the game plan here. After the completion of the first round. Until then, we encourage everybody to enjoy the first round. If you decided to come back and listen to this in the podcast form, we appreciate you there as well. 4 Feathers Pod on the socials, at On Tap Sportsnet as well. Like, subscribe, hit the bell button on YouTube, and you'll know when all of our good shows go live. Steve, appreciate you, my friend. And what do you say, buddy? Let's go Hawks.
Let's go Hawks.